Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast. This is season number 3, episode number 6. They're climbing up there. My name is Keith. This is Doug. How's Doug?
Doug's doing good.
Hey, look at him. He
Yeah.
it's in the morning,
We
you can tell,
got
but
some
but
good
he's
stuff to talk about today. I'm excited. I say
it's
that every
good.
time, but
You do.
it seems, if we kind of wait till the last minute, we're like, oh no, we don't know what to talk about.
We're good
And
under
then
pressure.
boom, an idea comes out. So
That is true because some nights, we do plan certain podcasts ahead of time, whether we're going to have a guest or whatever, and we
yeah.
structure Doug and I are planners. We outline, all that, but then some weeks kick our tails with work. Right now, you're in
Yeah.
your busy season with work. And then it'll be the night before, like last night, we're like, oh, dude. And now, to be fair, I had 2 topics that were going to be our main topics and they fell through hard.
Yeah.
One of them we can't talk about
No.
because it's
Yeah, no.
NDA. I will
Yeah.
say this. We are fortunate enough to where we're growing. We're starting to get stuff in. And what happened was Doug and I got invited to a preview of something really kick ass.
It's
And
awesome.
we'll just say it's tabletop game related. I was like, dude, we should showcase this. I go to launch it, get into it. Big old massive disclaimer. And it's like, do not share this. It's like, you're under NDA. You can't stream it. You can't talk about it. You can't. And we're like, so I text Doug and I'm like, well, there goes that for our main topic because we don't want to get in trouble, obviously. And then
Yeah.
the second thing was we also got invited to share this really cool virtual video game conference thing. And we could give out Steam keys and all. However, we didn't get the message till late. And you have to do all this pre-setup. You can't do it the night before. And
Yeah.
so then that put us our back against the wall and we're scrambling, but we're good under pressure. And I think we came up with something pretty fun. It's going to be good. Before we get into that, I'm wearing a very special shirt for you, Doug. And I just want to say, I saw this on the internet and I laughed so hard, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I went ahead and I bought it. So here you go. Let's see.
Big Deborah. That's funny.
It cracked me up. I love it.
Oh yeah.
She's got the double chins. I don't know. I'm not making fun of bigger people, by the way. I want to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when they take mascots of old and they do stuff like this. I don't know. It just
That
cracks
is
me up.
amazing.
I have a weird sense of humor, I guess. So now, I'm sorry if anybody out there's named Deborah. Okay.
It is early.
You ready for some
Get
news?
us a sip of coffee. Hey,
Yeah.
Wired Nerdy coffee.
Hey, look at that. Buying the merch. Getting them. I don't have mine next to me. I normally do, actually. But yeah. So let's you want to do some news?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's
Getting
cue up the
distracted
nerd
a little
news.
bit.
Yeah, I know we are. We're squirrely in the morning. All right, let's keep the nerd news.
Nerd News.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, as you pulled up, iPhone. They send out a tweet. They say, "Yeah, we're going to have an event. We're going to bring out someone to our family, a new device to the family," and then it's just the iPhone 16e. If you don't know the E, I don't know what it stands for, but it's kind of a lesser model. It's kind of a budget-friendly model for everybody. I have looked at this. I watched the little video they had. I'm not impressed. I don't know your thoughts.
Yeah, so I have a couple thoughts. Because this was didn't you say last episode Apple's going to be doing this announcement? We thought, oh, they're going to be adding a new member. We're thinking, oh, is it a TV? Is it a car? No.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the positive. All right. Well, I'm going to do what do they call that? A compliment sandwich, where you say something nice, then the negative, then maybe try to end something nice. First of all, I think I applaud Apple. One of the biggest critiques of Apple is they're freaking expensive, right? So I applaud them for trying to have they used to call it an SE model. This is an E model that is supposed to be their economical model, where they put the majority of the features in a phone that at a lower price. And when I say lower price, I'm talking what right now they're $1,000 to $1,200 for if you go a max. I can't remember what it is you pay
Yeah,
for.
about $11.99 for the base storage model, I think.
So one, I applaud them for having a economical line. That's awesome. That's great. People need that, especially today in the economy, right? However, their version of cheap is $599. What? Now, I guess if you're doing the payment plan, through the whole carrier thing or through Apple Store, if you have an Apple card, that's not so bad. I don't know. It is better than $1,000, and I'm also looking at it from the perspective of a parent. You know, I was about to say I have 4 teenagers. That's actually I only have 3, and one's about to turn 20 in June. So technically, my 4 is getting down to 2 teenagers. But the reality is, when you have kids and you're buying phones for them, it gets freaking expensive. So I do appreciate having the cheaper option. Or if you have a wife like mine that she doesn't really use a lot of apps, she didn't use a lot of the smartphone features. She texts and looks up weather. I mean, it's pretty basic. The 16E is an ideal thing, right? So I do appreciate that. And a lot of people are criticizing it because it's missing, some stuff. But I think my biggest beef is going to be the price point. It is cheap for Apple, but that's still not what I would consider cheap. And again, it's a major reason why a lot of people stick with Android. It's more affordable because you can get
Yep.
a sub 400 and below Android phone easy. And oftentimes back in the day, do you remember they would give iPhones away for free for like a penny if you were like with AT&T? They would do those
Oh,
really
yeah,
when they were
dirt
pushing
cheap.
smartphones.
Yeah.
They don't do that now. You can get Androids pretty cheap. Like you can get them like free in some cases if you're opening up a new account. So those are my thoughts. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I think you've said everything that I really need to say pro-wise about it. Now, the cons I see, and it's going to cost you about $200 more, is you're missing out on so much stuff for the baseline iPhone 16. I think the iPhone 16 baseline, lowest memory is going to be your best option in my opinion. Some of the things you're missing out on is some more cores in that A18 chip. It's going to make your phone a little bit faster on the 16 versus the 16E. And then the camera control. They released camera control on the iPhone 16 series. The iPhone 16E does not have that. The 16 baseline does. It also has 2 cameras. There's too many pros for me, but I'm kind of a tech guy to go with the 16E. I would just spend a little more money if you're wanting that to go to the 16 baseline, if that makes sense.
You're not the demographic, is what you're saying, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're shooting for. But it does have Apple Intelligence, though. And you are right.
it
It's less
does.
cores, but it does actually have that, which,
Well,
you know,
and then I wonder, that's the question is the lesser cores, I'm sure can still run Apple and still run your chat GPT
oh, yeah.
questions and stuff, but it's going to be a little bit slower response, I would think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. So, yeah, I applaud them. They do still have the fast, whatever, the action button on the side. They did do that,
hmm It's no
which you can
longer
turn
the
up.
click for mute, it's the action button now, yeah, I think.
Correct. Correct. Now, ours is click to mute. You can change ours, though, can't you? I thought you can
Yeah,
change our
there's
action
all
button.
kinds of options.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
here,
think
let me run through.
default is silent, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with it.
Yeah, it is. So I think it's a good run at it. I'm glad it's a cheaper option, but at the flip side of it, I'm just also like, still think it's a little pricey. Now they are comparing, and I only ask you because you're Mr. Atomic Battery guy here. They say in here that up to 26 hours of video playback on the 16E versus 17 hours on the 11. So, like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you believe these numbers? I mean, you being a big, battery guy, like, what are your thoughts on? Do you believe these numbers? Because oftentimes they put egregious battery life claims. What do you
Mhm.
think?
I don't know. I mean, I think
26
it
hours?
depends on how much stuff you got going in the background,
Well, this is
quality
just
of your
yeah,
video.
this is straight up video, so it's not like
Yeah,
talking. But
yeah.
I wonder what the
I don't know.
equivalent is.
It's going to be way better in Android already. We've already seen that. You've talked to me about how Apple streamlines their stuff in the background and makes it more efficient.
Yeah, the OS and the software. Yeah.
I'm still hung on the features that maybe not everybody wants, but the one big thing that I'm kind of switching gears here is no MagSafe on the back of it.
I didn't catch that.
Now,
I
yeah,
didn't catch that.
there's no
Really?
MagSafe on the back of the 16E, and I think the reason right now is that Apple is making their own modem chip or their cellular chip in the phone.
I get it, but I don't know what that has to do with the magnet and with MagSafe.
I don't know if the magnet's going to interfere with it or not, but
Okay, maybe.
MagSafe's kind of a big deal. You
I
got your
like
pop
it.
sockets, your batteries, all your stuff.
I like MagSafe. I like it personally, but wow, I totally missed that. Good catch. Yeah. Again, it's supposed to be more affordable options. You're not going to get all the features, and they gotta incentivize you to go one model up to make a little money. I get it, but
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, it's got USB-C. I assume it has wireless charging.
It has wireless charging,
But not
up to
MagSafe.
7.5 watts, but no MagSafe. Now,
Gotcha.
MagSafe on the 16 Pro Max will get you 25 watts
Mhm.
or 30 watts with a higher adapter.
Yes. Okay. That's good to know. It still
So
has
you're
crash
gonna do
detection.
some trickle charging.
Trickle charging, yeah, some small. All right. Well, Apple, you didn't give us an Apple car, but that's okay.
Hey, that wraps up the iPhone 16 conversation. The next, we're going to move into movies. One of my favorite series is the James Bond franchise. It's been going for a long time. The latest news is Jeff Bezos. If you all don't know him, he's the owner of Amazon and so many other things, has made a very generous purchase of $1 billion to take over the James Bond franchise. There are some really good things, really good series on Amazon Prime, but I'm still a little worried about where the future of James Bond is going.
I think Jeff Bezos likes James Bond a little more than you, Doug, because he spent $1 billion for the rights. You didn't. So
Oh, absolutely.
you say you're a fan, but you didn't prove it like Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos did.
he's got a little deeper pockets than me. I'd give him a good $20 to start the
20
bidding.
his is 20 spot. So what's interesting is the spinoff of this is since they retain the rights, they're obviously going to do something with the live action, bringing it back. There's this sprint now that I've been seeing all these things about who's going to play 007. And I've seen a short list of all the different people that's up and that could. Of course, one of them is my boy, Henry Cavill. Now he's busy
yeah.
doing Warhammer and stuff like that. But by the time they're ready to film, I think he would be an awesome 007. But there's some other ones on the list that are interesting. Who would you have? Do you have anybody in mind that you would like to be James Bond? Nobody at the top
I
of mind.
mean, I'm trying to think off.
They don't even have to be British.
Yeah, I don't even know. Can there be an American version of James Bond? MI6 and that whole James Bond past history.
I
I think it has to be a British person, right?
They don't have to be a British person. They just can do a British accent. That's my
Well,
opinion.
that's what
Yeah.
I meant.
Yeah,
British
yeah.
person in the show. Yeah.
Yeah. But even if they're an American, if they're good enough, they could do an accent. I think they're good. I know there's probably a lot of British people that would be gasping right now, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But James
How
Bond's
about
fun.
my boy Timothy Chalamet?
I'm good.
I knew I'd get you with that one. Okay,
Really, him?
next story, right?
Dude,
right?
he's nothing
He's not a
against
lot of
him.
muscle refinement, and
It's not even that. It's nothing against him. Nothing against him. He's just maybe if you're doing a young James Bond, like
Yeah.
okay, like if you're doing like how they had like the young Indiana Jones, maybe. Now, God, you gotta have somebody with some maturity, man. What's going on with you, Doug? Doug, take another drink of coffee.
For those listening, I got the Keith look of we'll talk about this after the show.
He got the judgment of you gotta be kidding me. Where's your head at? Get your head out of the sand. What are you doing? Nothing against Timothy Chalamet, but Chalamet as Adam Sandler. So awesome, dude. But he's cool. But I don't know, dude. Why didn't you just say the kid from Spider-Man? It's the same to me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
What do you, Doug? Take another drink of coffee as I move to the next.
Okay,
Dear God,
Wired Nerdy Coffee. Here we go.
That's right. Look at that. We're getting another one of these. I never got into them, but I know they have a huge following. You ever watch any of the Last Airbenders?
I did. I watched and I'll look it up, fact check here, but the movie that came out 5-10 years ago.
There's been a few. M. Night Shyamalan did a version of it, and I thought because I like him, but he's kind of hit and miss sometimes. It didn't do well. It was a box office flop. It seems like to me with the Last Airbender, they just keep trying it until they get it right. And honestly, they do best with animation. There was a side parallel to this. It was, I believe, it was Legend of Korra that my daughter watched. Conveniently, her name's Korra, and it was pretty good. So I love the premise of it. I think it's great. It's interesting that Nickelodeon's going to take another run at it. I'm wondering if I'm pretty sure it's probably going to end up being animated, which is probably best from a cost standpoint. And they just can't seem to get the live action. Yeah, and they list them here at the end, Doug. They said you are right. The franchise has been complicated, and it says for most projects we've gotten the ill-received live action adaptation. Korra, which I just mentioned, has a bit of a cult hit. That one had popularity. A live action Netflix show in 2024 didn't do well, and a handful of books and games. There are just as many projects still in the hopper, though. And Nickelodeon's announcement also teased the forthcoming film adaptation after Aang's life. So they're really trying hard to turn this IP into something, because it is popular, like the original.
Yeah.
So I see why.
Yep, and I just confirmed that is the only one I've watched is the M. Night Shyamalan in 2010
2010. It's been a while.
called The Last Airbender.
Been a minute. I don't remember it being horrible, but I don't remember it being great either. So, all right, next one. So I don't know if I'm not in the market for a video card, but you know me, I'm a nerd. I keep up with this stuff, especially industry and just what I do for a living. Video cards, it is like a hellscape out there right now. So no joke, just for fun, and I'm framing this up for this article, by the way, so bear with me, just to let everybody know what's going on in the market right now. And a lot of it's because of AI. These chips that are in these video cards can do AI and all this kind of stuff, and people want to run local AI. And then you have video gamers, then you have bit miners. Bitcoin's big again with mining again, and these chips drive all that. Well, the 5000 series from NVIDIA came out not too long ago, a couple months ago. Of course, as expected, you can't find them. Well, if you wanted a video card right now, Doug, so you're rocking what, 3070 in yours? I think I have a I have a 30.
I believe so.
You have a 3070, right? I have a 3080 Ti.
3070. Yeah.
If I even wanted to upgrade my desktop, like I went to Best Buy, Newegg, Amazon, you name it, like thousands of dollars for the 4000 series and for the 5000, almost more than if you were to do a build. And then on top of that, you can't find them. All the 4000 series are sold out. All the 5000 series are sold out. So that's the state of the market. If you wanted to upgrade your video card, you basically can't, or you got to go to eBay and pay a scalper like a stupid amount of money. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're better off to sit and wait, because with supply and demand, it's not there right now. So that's everybody's disclaimer. Now, let me lead into this. Why did I give you that preamble? Well, this article points out that it's rare, but on RTX 5090s, and I want you to look up the price for a 5090 while I mention this, if you don't mind, Doug.
Yes.
And 5070 Ti manufacturing issues. There's something called a ROPS chip, ROP. Now, this is a rendering chip. They didn't put them in the cards. Now, this is minor. NVIDIA pointed out, hey, by the way, in manufacturing, we forgot to some of the cards, didn't get this. And the real kick in the face is they're like, but don't worry, it only impacts your performance by about 4%. If you get a hold of us, we'll replace your card. So they're making good on it. But here's my thing. With the state of the cards right now, you can't even get these. They're out of stock everywhere. But even if you did score one and you've spent how many thousands of dollars for one, and then you find out that they didn't put everything in it was supposed to have, I don't know, NVIDIA, you're kind of stepping on your face a little bit. I'm not very impressed. Did you find the price on these? I'm going to say 1,500 and above.
Out of stock everywhere?
Yeah.
What's your
I would say 50. It depends on if you're going if I'm doing a 5080 and above, it's a minimum of $1,500. I'm going to say upward of $3,000 if you want a 5090.
5090 Best Buy sold out, 32 gigabyte, $19.99.
$2,000. I was a little high, but maybe it's because I was looking at scalper prices last.
I'm looking on eBay. A sealed RTX 5090 has 41 bids, $4,000.
See, I said
$4,000.
It's dude, come on.
And you got to worry. Is this eBay scares me. Is this a picture of a box of a 5090, or is it actually the 5090?
There's also fake 5090s out there. I follow a Meta PC and a few other PC builders. So here's my advice, everybody. Let's say you are it's time. You want a desktop PC. Let's talk desktop, not laptops. But I guess it kind of fits for laptops. And let's just say you're jonesing, but you got to get a gaming machine, or even if you got to do an upgrade on your video card. Here's my advice: don't upgrade your video card. Go buy a new computer. Here's why. The manufacturers like Meta PC, Cyber, Power PC, even Dell, any of them that make PCs, they have built-in agreements with NVIDIA where they get secured stock of these, but they're for their pre-builds and that sort of thing. So if you go out to any of those sites, you'll find you can buy a PC for $3,000, $3,500, $4,000. Guess what? That's the price Doug just quoted for eBay for one card. You can get and I'm talking, that's an i9 if you're into Intel. So that's a beefy machine.
Yeah.
So you're better off just buying a whole PC if you're going to spend that kind of cash. Don't blow it on eBay on some loser that's trying to make a buck right now and scalp. That's my advice. But
yeah, I've gone through 30 listings quickly, and nothing is below $4,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Now, here's the last point I'm going to make on this. I think there's an opportunity here for AMD and AMD, great cards. I will tell you, I think AMD has an opportunity here where they could step in and take some of this market share with what's going on right now, because if they can do better on their supplies, they perform just as well. But then I'm going to say one other thing. Intel has the Battle Mage card. And I don't know if you've seen this thing. If somebody were building a budget build right now, I would recommend the Battle Mage. And let me explain why. Now, Intel, traditionally, the video cards suck. They have what's called the ARC chip that's new. And like first gen was like, meh. But they keep getting better and better. Well, the Battle Mage just came out Thanksgiving-ish, fallish time frame. And what's cool about it, it is like, we're talking like a $300 card, but it can perform. You're going to have to fact check me on this. It can perform at a pretty decent level, like a low end 4000 series. Actually, I'm just going to look it up. Battle Mage performance. We're doing this live, guys. Comparison.
Say, I'm trying to erase you here, but
we'll see who gets there first. Here we go. 4060,
it's
man.
In position. Yep, I found it, but you go ahead.
Did you find it too? Go ahead. No, I got it too, but I had
no,
Google
you have
AI.
it right there on the screen.
I have Google AI cheating. It was a race. It's a race. Dude, look at this, though. This is equivalent. This is better technically than what you have in your laptop. But your laptop is it's only one step above with your 37.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Now, see, it says here your RTX 3070. That's what you have. It says the B580, which is a model of the Battle Mage, roughly matches the 3070, but has a little bit lower frame time consistency. Dude. And now, did you find the cost of the Battle Mage? I was guessing it was around $250, $300. I don't think it's like $400. Like, I was really shocked at the cost of this thing, and it's new.
I'm seeing 252 on B&H Photo.
252.
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
The ARC 750.
There you go, and that's
limited
one step.
Edition.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You're looking at $300,
awesome.
$350 probably tops. You're getting 4060 performance. Now, can you imagine if they had a Battle Mage like 590 that gives you, like 4080 performance below $500? I think there's a massive opportunity here for both Intel and for AMD to kick in NVIDIA around in the marketplace. Because if I was doing a budget build right now, I would be honest with you, man, because you can't find these cards, and I'm an NVIDIA guy. I love NVIDIA. I would be like, nah, just buy a Battle Mage. That will do everything that you need for super cheap, and then just wait. That would be my advice right now. See? Yeah. That's what you do. That's the State of the Union. And by the way, this could all change next week. You know how the market is. So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox. All right, this next one, yeah. Have you heard of this? It's
I read the article real quick, and I saw you threw it up there, and yeah, it's creepy.
Well, first let's explain it, then we'll show you the video. The video is what creeps me out. So it's called Clone Robotics, and they have what's called a proto clone. They have this thing, they're showcasing it, and it's a robot, which, we've seen Boston Dynamics. I've seen the scary, robot dog that runs really, really fast. You've seen some of those. Like, they're using them in military applications now. But dude, this thing is straight up out of Westworld. Here's what's crazy about it. It has 200, like the same amount of bones we have. They basically rebuilt a human. It's got 206 some odd, whatever, bones. And they're building a robot that replicates the human body. And they claim it will walk natural. They have videos of it articulating its fingers and picking up dumbbells. It can grip a gun. Like, and it does it just like this is essentially a recreation. It's a robot, but using our anatomy. Their goal is to make a robot that is atomically correct, and it's the proto-clone. And they claim the way they're training it is through some weird telekinesis thing, essentially where they hook up like a brainwave thing. This is so sci-fi, Doug. Now, this is scary. Did you watch Westworld?
I did.
Doesn't that look like the Westworld milky white
It
body?
does. And it's still creepy, you know.
It's
Not
like
to be
human.
the
tinfoil
hat,
put it on.
tinfoil hat time, but
Put it on.
you put Chat GPT in there and remove all the safeties. It's not good,
dude. It's anyway. I don't.
Yep.
I don't know.
You know, we do it live. My light just went out. So
don't no, he's has an outage.
It got really dark in here.
I was gonna say, Doug was in. You know what it is? He spoke ill of our new robot overlords that are coming our way, and
perfect timing too.
They hacked his system, and they said, "You know what?
Hey,
you don't like. Hey, look at Doug.
We're gonna cut that out, and
no, we're not.
No, we won't. We'll leave that in. Yeah.
The robots, the robots.
Technology.
Yeah,
great.
One for Doug. Anyway, everybody, you can pre-order this thing apparently in 2025. They point out that it has the white skin, over 200 degrees of freedom, over 1,000 myofibers, and over 200 sensors. Boy, can you imagine sex robots moving forward? This is the.
Yeah, I heard you say anatomically correct, but I kept my comments to myself.
Where's this going, dude? This is scary.
It is scary.
I like my robots to look industrial. I don't want them looking real. That's when they take over. I've seen movies. All right.
Well, there was a movie one time that explained why we don't put faces on robots for emotional
I vaguely remember
purposes.
That too. It's got to be
somebody knows what movie that's from.
I'm sure it is. Anyway, we'll keep rocking. All right. Did you ever play Sifu?
I did not.
I
read this article and I just never played the game.
Okay, so here's the deal. Sifu, if you don't know what that is, I'll find some game. We had a long weekend.
Yeah, it's currently on Steam.
Yeah,
so
it's a good one. We'll just go straight on to our boys out at IGN. Although it's really loud in my ears. So there we go. So we had a long weekend and I played Sifu. This is it that you see on the screen.
I like the artistic style there.
Oh, it's really cool. Credit, by the way, goes to our good friend here, Swifty Unknown's footage. We don't want to steal their stuff and play too much of it. But through button combinations, you're basically a kung fu master. Do you see those little rings on his hip? Those little discs? Every time you die, you age 1 year.
Oh.
And you pop right back up, so you don't lose progress.
That's an interesting concept.
As you get older, your hair gets gray, you form a beard, your reflexes take a hit. It was a great. I beat it. It's a great game. Well, the whole reason why we're showing this is that Netflix is hoping to turn this into a show.
Yeah.
So it's a great concept, and it just coincidentally, I beat it this particular past weekend. And there's a lot of different playthroughs you can do, different ways you can beat levels. But for me, I just wanted to get to the storyline. And I really liked it. It was a good game. So if you're into Kung Fu, this is good stuff.
Yeah, so it's got high hopes. The director or creator of John Wick is behind it. So should have some really good fight scenes in it.
And I love me some John Wick. So that makes me excited.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you can take the next one. You're a Dune head.
I'm super excited for the next, whatever I'm trying to say.
Episode?
I don't know what it's going to call. The
Movie?
next movie of Dune.
Probably movie.
Yeah, my mouth isn't working. So Dune Awakening is coming out May 20th. You can start creating your character today. It's going to be an open world MMO for PC. I can only imagine riding one of the worms through the desert and chomping up other emperors and empires.
Yeah, I hope they let you fly the vertibirds, or what are they called? Vertibirds?
The
verticopters.
Otocopters.
They have something like that.
Thornocopters.
Wow, that's even fancier than I thought. Jeez.
It's like a butterfly helicopter.
I hope they let you fly those. That'd be kind of cool. I do think it's interesting that they're letting you build your character before the launch. That's kind of neat. That's a good way to like drum up some excitement. So if you're a Dune head, you're probably going to love this. It says here it costs $50 for a pre-order. What I'm curious is there going to be a monthly subscription, or is this just like a buy and you play?
It looks like a buy and you play. The concept is just imagine if the Freemen have vanished
Mhm.
from the planet Paul Atreides, who we are watching in the movie was never born, and Lady Jessica obeyed the Benny Gesserit's instructions. So it's kind of a totally different universe story.
Mhm. Ornithopter.
I
That's it. You're right. Craft your. Oh, you can make your own ornithopter. I went out to Steam here.
Oh, nice.
Survive the sandworms. I don't know if you can write them. You can craft your own ornithopter, build a fortress, and ascend to power in an open world Arrakis shared with hundreds of others. This looks interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the screens look good. I mean, it's not showing us too much, but
Yeah. I mean, they have some good stills here out on Steam. Look at that
I think I'm going to
fortress.
be more of a movie fan than playing the game.
You don't think
fan,
you'll play
so
this?
I don't.
I don't know. You may get a crew together. We'll see how good it is.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the building.
Oh,
on
you're
the-
building
Yeah.
spice refineries, probably.
Yeah. That's actually it has promise.
It does.
It does
Yeah.
have promise. So I think it's cool. So if y'all are interested in that, you can go create your characters now. It's PC only, it looks like. But it looks cool. I am encouraged that it's $50 and there's no talk of subscriptions. I like it when they do that. And then what they do is they'll instead charge you for DLC. I'd rather it be that way
Oh.
than a sub. And again, I go back to my old school thinking of there's some months I don't ever play video games. And if so,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, if I've got a magazine subscription, yeah, I can go back and read that magazine later, right? I can't go back and get the month of playback. That's my problem I have with classic World of Warcraft style $14 a month kind of a thing. My life is just not conducive to it. It never has been. So I'd rather be more like this, where maybe it's just you're picking your add-ons. So cool. All right.
Next, we are kicking it back old school with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, I watched
did
a
you watch?
couple here, there. I did not watch the entire series.
Yeah.
But they're bringing it back. Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Sarah Michelle Gellar. They're not recasting. It doesn't sound like they're starting over. They're doing a continuation, I believe.
I think that's cool. So I didn't get into the series. I think my oldest daughter loved it, watched it straight through. It's got a cult following. Like people love it.
Mhm.
And then there was a
Yeah.
spinoff called Angel, which I think they're also going to be doing, by the way. What's interesting about this is that Sarah Michelle Gellar for years said there ain't no way I'm going back and doing Buffy. There ain't no way. She said no. And then Oscar award winner Chloe Zhao, who she's won tons of awards as a director, apparently she talked her
Hmm.
into it. She called her up, started telling her concept for it. And I guess she's like, oh, dang, that's pretty good. And that's why she agreed to do it. So this will be interesting. It says it does say reboot. It says it's a reboot that hails from Buffy the Vampire Slayer studio. However, I do think she's continuing in it somehow. So I say it's a reboot. Who knows? It could be the
Reboot
next
of the
generation
franchise, but
Yeah.
continuation of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, which honestly, I think that's cool because it had such a good.
Yeah.
Now, the series has a bit tainted in the fact that the original creator tied to it and director was Joss Whedon, and he's very polarizing with a lot of sexual scandals and things like that, which could have been part of the reason why Sarah Michelle Gellar didn't want to dive back into that. But having the right collaborative team, I guess that's what's happening. So,
Yeah.
fun times. Now, you sent me this next one, and I'm curious about your thoughts. It's Sid Meier's Civilization 7, which Doug and I have been playing, but the VR version announcement trailer. You sent me this. What are your thoughts on this? It looks cool, but
It's very interesting. I've got thoughts and jokes at the same time because you're sitting there in your VR headset waiting for your friend.
I'm gonna be annoyed.
We won't name any names to make their move, but
Do you think
jokes
your
aside,
advisor?
it looks really interesting.
Do you think the advisors are standing next to you?
That
Like
would
in
be
this video?
crazy. And then your civilization leader, it'd be awesome.
That's what it looked like. But do you have to have that cool round table? That's what I want. Or can you just use your dining room table?
It probably has to be on some flat surface to project, I would think.
Personally,
Unless it just makes its own table there.
I love augmented reality more than I do virtual reality. And this is a
Yeah.
cool concept. I would love to do it. course, I have a bad eye, right eye, so VR and AR with these headsets. My thing is, I wouldn't want to wear the headset that long because you and I've had some long playthroughs, hours.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Now it's a cool concept. If your advisors are standing next to you, I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know if that's just for the
yep.
marketing video or not though. So
It looks amazing, and like you said, the batteries on these headsets
yeah,
don't have the best
not great.
life. So then you're going to have some battery packs. I know you can extend the life plugging in external battery packs.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot to wear. I'm more of a mouse, keyboard, got a drink, got a snack because it's going to be a long gaming session.
Yeah, this is like a novelty I'd like to try it. Now, if you already have like a
Yeah,
Quest or something, it's a
it
definite
would be
get.
cool to try
Yeah,
out.
it'd be a good try, but I don't know. I have to wait for the reviews. We'll see.
Yeah,
Like you.
I'm still waiting for the Oasis to be created,
Oh,
as
there
in
you go.
Ready
The
Player One.
haptic suit. I'll tell you what though,
Yep.
already I'm just gonna be honest. It annoys me when my turn's over and we're doing multiplayer with friends, and I'm just sitting here like I'm reading articles, I'm looking at
Oh
the
yeah,
ceiling,
yeah.
and then like, oh shoot, it's my turn, and I go back. So I don't know what would that be like in VR. They better give me like something to do. So, like mini VR games while I'm waiting on Doug to
Yes.
take his turn. That's what I need. All right, I think that does it for the news, man. We had a good run there.
Yeah, yeah. We only got sidetracked a couple times.
A
It's
few
okay.
times, just a few times. That's all right. So our next one is really fascinating because, and honestly, Doug, I don't know if I did them in any order. I'll try. So there is, a big play right now for people talking a lot about AAA games. When I say AAA games, I mean big studios, Electronic Arts, Blizzard, Bethesda. Microsoft owns most of them now, and we keep seeing like $300 million budgets, and these games will launch. Look at Concord, for example. That was a game that launched. It didn't last weeks, and they pulled it off the shelves. It was so poorly received. And then you have these mass firings. They'll hire all these people, hundreds and hundreds, sometimes up to 1,000 people in the lifespan of a project, and then they fire them. We're talking huge games, and then they miss. And so the market space is very limited. And then on top of that, you have the same thing going on that's going on in the movies, in that it's always sequels, it's always known IP properties. They don't want to start anything new. What's interesting about that is that with the rise of AI and all this kind of stuff, the AAA games are kind of in threat at this point because they're not performing well. You got Ubisoft, who makes Assassin's Creed. They've really had some mess ups. These big companies
Yep.
that are traditionally known. So Doug and I got to talking about, you know what? This is just like what we were talking about, the opportunity for disruption with the Battle Mage video cards. There's an opportunity in video games, and that's indie games. Indie
Mm.
games I was watching the Mr. Right Way podcast recently. I think it was one of his co-hosts, A Omega. If you don't know him, check him out. It's a really funny video out right now where he pretends to be executives from Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. It's really funny. But A Omega made a great point. He had said that with the way these tools are moving along, it's going to really help indie developers because while the threat of AI threatens jobs and all that, it's probably going to help them do proof of concepts faster. It's going to allow smaller studios that have less programmers to move quickly. So Doug and I got to talking about it. We're like, you know what? Let's showcase some of our favorite indie games. Now, I want to be clear. This is not all of them, especially when I look at my Steam library. We could not list all of them. They're
No.
just the ones we want to bubble up that we have been playing or we plan to play at some point. Because some of these I have on my list, but I haven't. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't got to them. So I'm going to start with this first one. I discovered it first, but then Doug, you fell in love with it. I'm going to
Oh,
let you take it
absolutely.
from it. It's so good, surprisingly good. And I wanted one last thing I'll say. The reason why I've been on this indie game kick as of late is because of my Steam Deck. Because I want to be able to play things on the Steam Deck, and indie is kind of where it's at. It performs well on it, and so that's kind of why I've really dove into indie. And I found out I love a lot of these games. So I'll let you take it from there. Let's this first one here. It
Yeah, the
sounds
first
weird.
one is Dredge, and I really have to give you credit because I had the Steam Deck and I said, I need games that play really well on Steam Deck. And man, you fired off Dredge and a couple others that we're
Double
actually
cover.
going to
Yeah.
talk about today. But Dredge is an awesome
So
single
good.
player fishing adventure. But there's a sinister
Mhm.
underside to it. You're fishing, you're making your boat better, you're getting better gear. But there's a side story that something is not right with this town, this harbor, this little ocean area, and that's what makes it really good.
It's got a horror element to it.
Absolutely.
Very Lovecraftian. So I know you may be like, oh dear God, fishing game, guys? Really? No, you don't understand.
Eh,
Weird. So yes, it's fishing, but then you start catching
but
like mutated fish. And then at night, if you fish at night, you better get back into harbor because
oh
things
yeah.
will attack your boat and you got to figure this mystery out. And they just released some DLC that I haven't done yet. The Pale Reach, the Iron Rig. These are all new add-ons that I haven't even gotten to yet because I haven't beat the core game. This game is addictive. So
Yeah.
pick it up. I cannot
Yeah. It's a
emphasize this
great
enough
game.
because I told Doug about it and I know you were probably like, I don't know. But then I was
Fishing,
surprised. Yeah.
what?
But then he sent me a message. You sent me a screenshot one day and I'm like, oh, he's playing it. And you end up loving it. So
Oh, it's great.
it's such a great game. And $24, $25. And as Doug always reminds me, Steam sale cometh.
Steam sale. I picked it up on the Steam sale. That's
I did too.
put a bunch of stuff in your wish list and you'll get a notification, hey, this item on your wish list is on the Steam sale.
That's right. So, and one is coming, I thought, for spring, March maybe. So add it to your wish list. Don't have to buy it now, and then you'll probably get it cheaper. So it's a good tip. All right, we'll go on to the next one because we have quite a few of these. I love this game. I haven't played it in forever. This was on your list. I'm gonna let you keep rocking with it.
Yeah, yeah. So the next one is Stardew Valley. If you haven't heard of it, it's really awesome.
Oh,
I
so
think it's
good.
a call out to Harvest Moon, if I have the right
Ish.
name, way
Mhm.
back in the day. Ish.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're doing a farm, you're going on adventures, you're exploring caves, caverns, towns, um, collecting all kinds of stuff, upgrading your farm, your person, your tools. There's so much to do. I can keep going on and explaining it, but it's a really good and the kind of cartoony graphics. That's what I was talking about
It's
in
like
past episodes. It's
very
great. It just
Nintendo
makes it
64. There's
feel
like
great. Yeah.
Nintendo, not 64, Super Nintendo is what it reminds
Yeah.
me of. That pixel. I love
It plays
pixel
really
art.
well on the Steam Deck. I've also got it on a tablet. I played on the tablet and then on regular PC as well.
And fun fact, this was developed by one dude. One dude.
Yeah.
And so there's a story too. It's essentially your uncle or grandpa, I can't remember which. It's been a while since I played, passes away and leaves you the farm. And it's in
Yeah.
disarray and you have to clean it up. This game is what I would call one of those cozy games, but it is addictive. You could just get lost in it. You can go fishing in it. And they've added, I don't know if you played, Doug, since did you know they did add-on packs and updates. They're not add-on packs.
I have not played in a year or two, so I'm probably
Yeah.
missing out on a bunch
Yeah,
of
it's
stuff.
not DLC. They have a soundtrack. No, there's add-on packs that add to the story and you can do more in the game. So you should go back and check it out. I haven't done it yet. It's on my list. I'm gonna go back. I love Stardew Valley. He's working on a new game called something the Chocolatier, and it's very similar to this. So it's not out yet. So everybody's really excited about it, but people keep playing Stardew Valley because they're worried about the Haunted Chocolatier, I believe it's called. So
Yeah.
good pick, man.
Yeah.
We're still on your list. I'm gonna let you keep rolling. This is another one I
hey,
told you about.
Okay. I hate to hog all the time here, but
Dude, I
this
put
is
your
another
list
one
up
I got to
first.
give you a shout out big time, Dave the Diver.
God,
And we
so
talked
good.
about Dredge earlier. There's actually a free pack if you own Dave the Diver to get Dredge content.
Talking's
I
hard.
don't know why I can't say the word. Dredge content mixed into the game.
Yeah.
Dave the Diver, another very peaceful one. You're just kind of tranquil, going into the water, catching fish, and like, okay, catching fish. But every night you got to go to the sushi restaurant that you own and cook sushi too. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
You wait on people. It's like these cool mini games where you have to fill up their drinks, wait on. I know it sounds so cheesy, but it is so much fun.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
It is a
All the little mini
blast.
games you got to play.
Yeah, and then there's funny like story bits too that pop up. You know, there's like crazy characters, like the head sushi chef. He's like a samurai guy, and when he cooks sushi, they have these really cool cutscenes, and they've added a lot more to where you're like many more mini games where you're frying fish, you're making martinis. This
Oh, yeah.
game is awesome, and they added. I think we talked about it last podcast. They're adding a DLC where they're going to make it almost like a fight, a side-scrolling fight game, like Final Fight. So this game is so much fun, and it's got a lot of humor in it. That's the best part. So it's a
Yeah.
blast. Highly recommend. And this was just one of those random pickups that I did also for my Steam Deck, and I just fell in love with it. And again, I messaged Doug, like, dude, you got to play this game. It's so good. So pick that bad boy up.
Oh, yeah.
Now I've watched my kids play this. I don't have you played this? I'm gonna let you again. We're on Doug's list. I loaded his up first, so I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
So I've got to give an honorable mention to this. It's called Among Us. I'm sure you've seen it. You hear about things being sus. I try to learn the language of my millennial nephews, and sometimes I understand it. Sometimes I have no idea what they're talking about. They actually got me into this. I've been killed a lot on this game,
So you have
but
played it.
essentially, yep,
Oh,
yep. Essentially, you go around, you do little mini games, but then one of those, secret to everybody else, is trying to kill all the crew members. So it's a really fun game. You vote out. Now, I quit it because I rage quit. Actually, I have to go on a tangent here. I rage quit because they keep voting out the non killer. If you
mhm.
make the little group mad, this is all real people playing. They vote you out for no reason. I'm like, okay, I'm done with these kids.
You have that problem anytime there's real people playing in a multiplayer game like that.
Yep.
So I've never played it. It was real. It went through this wave of popularity around COVID, especially because people were stuck in playing it,
Yep,
and a
a
lot of people
and
got
I
into it.
lost, it's not much, it's the same thing over and over to me. Sorry, Among Us, I may be talking trash, but, I played, for a couple months during COVID, yep,
Yeah.
and then, it just the appeal
It
left me
has
there.
it has waned a little bit in popularity, but still
Yep,
great game. Check it out. But you just be aware you're going to be doing it like player versus player.
yep.
Now I have an add-on for this that I want to point out, but I'm gonna let you run with this next one. It's excellent as well. You picked a great one.
Yeah, I picked this up on a Steam sale. You can see a theme here, but bomber crew. So you are actually in charge of a World War II, World War One bomber crew. You got to manage your fuel, your bombs, taking photos, and manage your crew. You got to upgrade them with different stuff to wear. Really cold up there. The thing that attracted me is just managing so much stuff was a challenge, but it was a cool challenge.
This is
Uh,
a great game. You
Yep.
picked a good one. Yeah, it's fun. And don't you have to man different parts of the bomber, the
Mhm.
gunner, and like it's a management game, but it's
It
fun
is definitely.
because there's combat and stuff. So you're telling them what to do and you're making sure that you're
Yeah,
getting them
if one
through
of
it.
your crew members, like your bomber that looks
Mhm.
down the bomb site, gets injured, you have to send somebody else real fast,
Go
and
fix it. Put out
it's
fires.
all
Yeah.
very, very time oriented. If you don't do it fast enough, you're going to fail the mission.
So I've never played Bomber Crew,
Oh, it's
but
good.
I
99
played.
cents right now.
But I'll tell you what I did play. This one right here, Space Crew.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
So it's identical to Bomber Crew.
You're going to make
Ex-
me buy something else here.
Dude, it's so good. So I have Bomber Crew came out first, and I didn't play it. But what's awesome about this is like basically Star Trek, and you go away on away missions where you beam
Oh,
down,
nice.
you go investigate problems on planets, but then you also get into battles with your spaceship, and it's the exact same thing where you're sending people to put out fires on your spaceship. You can see them running around on fire there. You have escape pods you got to get them to. Aliens will beam into your ship when your shields are down. This game is so cool. And right now, the Legendary Edition, by the way, the Legendary Edition is only $5. It's 80% off right now. So that
Nice.
doesn't even include the Steam sale. You could get this right now. Plays amazing on the Steam Deck. You can upgrade your guns. So I started with Space Crew and I never touched the other one, but the other one was first and it looked awesome. I would play it for sure, but this one has hooked me here. So this is an honorable mention from me as a follow up.
Very cool.
Great game. Well, you're swinging for the fences. Now, this next one was also on your list. I've never played it, but I have heard a lot about it. What's up
Yeah,
with this one?
these next couple of games I have on a I really want to playlist, so I
Mhm.
really don't have any
You haven't
experience
played
with
it?
them.
Okay.
They just look great. So The Forest. Let me
Yeah.
get back. Too many tabs open here. So, you're a lone survivor of a passenger jet crash, and you're in this mysterious forest uh, against a society of cannibalistic mutants. Right there, you got me at cannibalistic. It's kind of a survival
Or
horror.
yeah.
You gotta build stuff, make weapons, and fish, and all kinds of resource management.
I've seen
It
them
just
people
looks really cool.
have you seen people play it on Twitch? It's pretty
I
cool.
have
It's
a
good. It's
couple times,
interesting.
maybe not Twitch, YouTube, but yeah,
Yeah, either way, it's really it looks cool. It looks kind of scary. Like there's creatures at night that come out, and it's better to do all your crafting in the day or collecting your resources to craft. So I don't know. This would be one. I don't know. Is this multiplayer? Co-op,
I
online co-op. This is one I'd rather
Yep.
play with a friend. I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to play by myself. So, but it says it has co-op. So,
Yeah, not bad.
all right. Now you put this one on here. You said you want to play this one because
I have not played it
I
yet.
have played it quite a bit. I'll let
Okay.
you keep on going. On the
Will
Doug
you
list.
wanna run with it? I'll let
No,
you
no.
run with
Well,
it.
if you want, I mean, it's Subnautica.
I'm excited to play it now. You tell me,
Yeah.
and I may have to buy this.
All
Yeah.
right, so this one is awesome as well. Subnautica, it's been around for a while. They keep adding DLC to it as well. Essentially, your spaceship had crashed in the middle of the ocean planet, and you just have this survival pod, and you have to start the game by coming out of the survival pod, exploring, gathering resources, crafting, fix the pod, all this kind of stuff. And you can even start doing base building and things like that. Now, I will admit, I've not stuck with the game. It's really good. It's fun, but there's so much to it that I've not stuck with it long enough to get my crafting high enough in order to start building bases and all that. So I've not stuck with it a long time. I've stuck with Minecraft, I would say, and No Man's Sky longer. I felt like I could level up my skills and craft faster with those other games. You can upgrade your submarine inside of it, and you can get little vehicles that you can drive around. I've never gone that far. So I don't know what the game necessarily is like outside of gameplay footage that I've seen when you get to those upper levels. Personally, I've never had the patience to stick with it, but it's pretty awesome. So I highly recommend it. And it is not expensive either. It's $30 right now. It's always going on sale. And they have I did buy the DLC called Below Zero, where you're in frozen waters as well. So that's my little pitch on it. It's good. I enjoyed it. I just
Oh, good.
haven't played it to the upper levels yet because it does take a lot of patience. It's very grindy. I want to warn you about that as well. So there you go. That's my spiel.
Hey, thanks.
Are you gonna get it?
You say grindy.
It's grindy.
That's a lot of commitment.
It's grindy. But I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, if you catch it on a Steam sale for $5 or whatever, it's definitely worth checking out.
Worth trying out.
Yep. All right. Next
Now,
one.
this next one, I was inspired by the Netflix series of Cuphead.
Mhm.
They have a show on there. It was okay, not bad. A lot of awesome voice actors like Wayne Brady, Johanna, Frank Tedoro. They do a bunch of other animated series as well. But I love the art style. It's kind of a 1930s, 1920s cartoonistic art style, and then you're attacking waves and waves of little enemies.
It reminds me of OG Disney Mickey Mouse, Steamboat
Yeah.
Willie. That's what it
Yeah.
reminds me of. The art style for this thing is just amazing. Now, it is an unforgiving game. It is tough.
Oh, I've heard it's very tough.
If you play with friends, that's you can do that. My son's put tons of time in this. He's beat it numerous times, but this is not a game that's going to hold your hand.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. So it's good, and it's got some very dark elements to it. About like why things are coming alive. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but it's got this really dark story element to it, even though the graphics look like an old cartoon. They are making it's not I don't think it's the same company, but the same art style. They're making a first person shooter in the same art style. It's like you're playing a cartoon. So
Oh, very nice.
that's a good one. All right. Keep on
Okay.
going. Now, this I'm gonna admit is on my want to play. I own it. I just haven't done it yet. It's called Outer Wilds, and it is Wilds, and it is got Game of the Year hand over. It's critically acclaimed. Um, Essentially, you're as I understand it, you're dropped on these planets, and it's procedurally generated, and you have to survive and discover stuff about it, and it's timed, so you're in a weird time loop. And so it got so many awards I couldn't ignore it anymore. I did pick it up in the last Steam sale. I have not played it yet. I've heard only good things, but you can fly around in your spaceship as you're going through and discovering what each one of the procedurally generated planets is about. I'm sure there's crafting elements to it, that sort of thing. So, dude, if you go look up the reviews on this, and the graphics look amazing. If you check it out there, and it there just sucked up his spaceship into a tornado on the trailer. So it looks awesome.
Very cool.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that one or not.
No, I have not. I saw it on a list, and I've got it on the wish list. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah. supposed to be pretty good. I've only heard good things.
Yeah.
Now, I've only played this a little bit, but it is very popular. It's Balatro, and it's a card game. Have you heard of this?
I have.
Yeah, it's
I have not played it
popular.
though.
Now, you can play this free on your phone. It's free in the App Store. But you can when it comes to Switch or if it comes to PC, it's relatively cheap. It's
Now, I believe
$13.
on the iPhone you have to have it on Apple Arcade though.
You do. That is true. Which a lot of people, if you've bought an Apple product, you might be on a free subscription right now.
Yeah.
But this is a fun game, and it's very simple. And you're building these hands that are very similar to poker decks, and you're essentially just trying to match up to a target number. And once you match that target number, you move on to the next level. There's a bit of a role playing element to it, believe it or not, but it's very
Huh.
simple. Some cool card animations. So it's popular right now. It's very popular.
Yep. You know, I'm kind of taking a side road here, but this takes me back to like early 2000s of Hoyle.
Hmm.
Hoyle used to make Hoyle board games, card games. I love those games all the time.
Yeah. This is like that, but not standard
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
It's not like bridge or gin rummy or anything like that. This is its own. It's using standard cards, but it's its own rules, and it's supposed to be pretty easy to pick up and play. So, highly recommend. It's very popular right now. Now, if you're in to Japanese RPGs, I highly recommend this one, Sea of Stars, and they have it not just on Steam. They also have it on consoles as well. This has got 3-person local co-op. So if you want to sit on a couch with friends, you can. But again, looks very Super Nintendo style, classic
Mhm.
RPG elements. It's got some mini games in it or puzzles that you got to figure out. This is an awesome game. You mentioned what game was it? Wild Arms? Is that the one that you
Yep. I was
switched?
just going to say, Wild Arms was amazing. I have so many hours into that before we started tracking hours.
That surprised me because I didn't know that you were into that kind of a game. So you might actually like
Oh, yeah.
this. And it's got fishing in it too. So yeah, I think you'd like it. All right. This next one's weird. I started playing it. It's a part of my PlayStation subscription. It's actually really good. It's also a little grindy, but it's fun. It's called
It
Cult.
looks very interesting.
It is. It's called Cult of the Lamb. And the premise being is that essentially you become a chosen one for some deity. And it's very dark. And then you have to start your own cult.
Oh, nice.
And you have to convert these other lambs to join in your cult for like this eventually big battle, and you're fighting some evil in the land and that sort of thing. What's fun about it, what they don't show is that it's procedurally generated, so a lot of the levels it's different each time you play, but it's very quick action combat when and you level up your weapons and you're fighting, and then you bring all that back to your village and you're building up like this town and community, and it's got that really cool like cartoon art style. It's got some mini games in it for gambling and stuff like that, but you basically have to keep all of the people that are following you as you beat each level. You got to keep them happy, and it's a very very good game. Again, I felt like it's a little grindy, but it's completely different. If you want to play something different, great. I think it's made by uh, Devolver Digital. They make some great stuff. Rounding out on the last one, and you put this on here, and it's on my list. It's on my wish list. I will pick it up at the next Steam sale, but I'm going to let
Yep.
you take this last one.
Yeah, the last one we're going to round out with is Keep Driving. And it seems very simple until you kind of watch what's going on in the background. There's all kinds of stuff. You get a car and you are picking up hitchhikers, you're working odd jobs, you're customizing your vehicle, and then you can use upgrade skills, items to overcome challenges. It just looks really fun. And we keep going back to the different art style.
I
So I
love it.
love that these independent developers, these small time companies are they don't worry about the best graphics.
No,
They don't worry about
it's
the
gameplay.
what the mainstream media and the mainstream developers are doing. They do their own style, and that's what makes it great, I think.
Yeah,
One of the screens I saw on there, you can't go too fast. You'll get
pulled over.
speed camera, you get a speeding ticket, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it reminds
But it's
me.
kind of your sorry to interrupt you.
No,
It's
go
in
ahead.
your
No.
vehicle and your truck, your car, just doing odd jobs, and so it looks really fun to play.
You're driving cross country. It feels very Oregon Trailish. Doesn't it
Yeah,
have that kind of
it
vibe?
does.
Because you got to like fill up your vehicle with supplies. to like spare tires, jumper cables, all that kind of stuff. But then you also you can upgrade your vehicle. You can meet weird characters along the way when you stop for gas, and you kind of have to manage different aspects. I don't know. It looks really cool, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it works well on Steam Deck. I need to find that. Normally they put a little controller if it does, because I don't see it there. This may not be
I
approved for.
do not see it there either. Yeah.
It may not be approved for Steam Deck yet. Again, if there's a lot of mouse in it, you're going to be using the
So it's got
touchpad.
a playable, but maybe not entirely.
Usually what that means is if it says playable, then that means that you
Oh.
have to touch the screen for certain menu options, and you can't
Yep.
do it all that's all that usually means. So you could play
Yeah,
it on
one of
Steam
the
Deck.
things that's making it compatibility issue is entering some text on screen with the
Typing.
on-screen
Yeah,
keyboard.
it's kind of a clunky on-screen keyboard that happens sometimes. But dude, this is on my list. I'm glad you put it on there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely pick it up. It just came out on February 6th. It's been in early access before that, though. I've heard there may be DLC later on where there's zombies.
Oh,
Yeah.
now that'll be awesome.
Yeah, or
Now
or
upgrading your car
Apocalypse.
with defenses and stuff.
Or Apocalypse as well,
Apocalypse. Okay.
where you have to get to a certain part of the country to get safe before nuclear stuff happens or
Oh,
terrorists.
nice.
So can you imagine like all of the options they can add to this?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, especially
yeah.
with zombies.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they already
Yeah.
have like some screenshots show cars with armor plating on them. So
Nice.
I think they're setting up for that. So I'm excited
Yeah.
about it. But man, that's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
we covered all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of great suggestions that we highly recommend if you just don't want to do like the AAA thing. Many of these aren't just available on Steam, they're available on Switch, they're available on PlayStation. Obviously, Xbox Game Pass is going to have a ton of them. So we highly recommend that you check them out if you're just looking for it. I love the cozy games that you can just play mildly and you don't have to be like so tuned into the story. And I personally think that with what's going on, I think we're going to see more and more of these indie development games become kind of the dominant force. And I'm all for it. I think it's great. They're also affordable. They're not like $50. Most of these games we suggested today, even not being on sale, they're like $30 and below. So it's an economical choice.
When you hear about helping out the mom and pop shops, this is really what you're doing. You're helping out one person, like we've heard,
Or
or you're
small
helping
team.
out a very small team. Important dates to remember for some of these games. March 13th to March 20th is a Steam Spring Sale.
Yep.
And then the big sale, June 26th to July 10th, is a Steam Summer Sale. So plenty of opportunity to get a lot of great titles on discount. So make sure you have those dates in your calendars.
And load up your wish list. That's what I do. A year long. Just
Absolutely.
load up your wish list and you don't have to go find them. You don't
And
forget.
you'll get notifications when those go on sale. Yeah.
Exactly. It saves you tons of time. So it's pretty easy to do it that way. So Doug, I think that does it for episode number 6, man. We're cracking right along here. We've got some fun things. I know we keep saying it. We've been sticking kind of to our normal format, but we got some cool stuff coming down the way. We've got some cons coming up, some cool coverage. We've got interviews that are being lined up. It just takes a little bit of time, and Doug's in his busy season right now, so I'm trying to be sensitive to that as well. And so we're cracking right along. Don't forget, we have a store if you want some merch, like Doug's fancy little coffee cup there. Look at him. He's like, look at that. He's like modeling it. Look at that.
You know, I'm no Vanna White, but I'm
I
trying
know,
to
you're pretty
reveal the letters
close.
and the numbers. Yeah.
You're pretty close. So yeah, catch some merch. And Doug, what else am I forgetting, man? Bring us home.
Our social media, Instagram, Facebook. Send us a message. Give us a like. Tell us what you want us to cover. We're more than open to covering different topics. Maybe some stuff that you're passionate about that we'd love to learn about. And as always, thank you for watching us.
That's right. Everybody, you have an awesome week, and we will see you next week for episode number 7. Take care.
See ya.